Hello, everyone out there. This is Dan the GM welcoming you to another amazing episode of What the Dice. This is episode 39, and it's just fine. Have you guys checked out our website? No? whatthedice.weebly.com. From there, you can see all sorts of cool things that are happening, as well as joining us on Patreon and on Discord. And if you haven't caught one of our live episodes, every other Sunday, we do a recording with Nytlin on her Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Nytlin. You can all find that on our website. We hope to see you there because we love to chat with our viewers. Well, enough talking from me. We're going to get on with this week's episode. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. The road has been long and hard on us. We have had a moment to take a deep breath and exhale softly as we sit down at the storyteller's campsite. Even though we return every chance we get to hear the story, our own adventure keeps us away longer than we wish. The storyteller looks at us and gives us a smile. Well, me friends, it seems as if you are as tired as I could only imagine our adventuring friends are. Defibulus has had a chance to deal with some of his brother's minions, disposing of them in his own special way. Well, now the adventurers must head to Ironhaven, home of Clyde Holdkeep. What will happen there? Only time will tell. Sit back, me friends, and hear my tale. So, after the battle, you've done your looting and have also freed the slaves, which have now started making their way to the Holy City. So, there are a couple ways we can go about this. You do have the location of where you need to go. Clyde, you recognize the plains that you're starting to approach. You've grown up there, you've ran away from there, you've done all the things here. As you approach, you have two options. You can enter the city to gather information, or you can go and hunt down and figure out what you'll be dealing with in the Orc War tribe.
I'm going to talk to my fellow members and tell them that if we go into the city, if you would like to talk to the village and things, I can put my helmet on and not speak so people do not recognize me.
Think it'll be that poorly of a reception if you show back up?
My thought process is yes.
And I thought I wasn't welcome back home.
Alright, well, Short Round or I can lead the conversations, and if you want to remain silent and math, we don't want to cause any more problems out here, but what should we know before we go in and start talking to people?
Anybody of note in this will be motivated by money or other cardinal desires.
Or less money.
Yes.
Alright, well, we really just need to come in and what? Tell them we're here to help with the orc problem and the Holy City sent us?
It's quite possible.
How do you wish for us to introduce you? With your name or just that paladin guy?
This is our paladin from the Holy City.
I'm gonna expect
If
the
you
name.
want the retainer of of my god,
Give us a fake name.
Sir Paladin.
Boo.
I was just gonna give him one of those like flat-eyed looks, like, come on.
Saying something other name is lying.
Buff, make hard to hit.
I'm just calling you K. I'm not lying. I'm just abbreviating your name down to the letter K.
K, follower of moment
Care, you're just a paladin. I just need to introduce you in some way other than, so this is the paladin we're traveling with. What's his name? Awkward pause?
Awkward silence paladin.
He's a monk. He doesn't speak.
He's a little too heavily armored for a monk.
Not necessarily.
Who said that?
All right. And short round. Do we need to be worried about anybody here for you too?
Your brother would not deal with humans this far south because there's not a lot of money in it right now.
Shouldn't, but hopefully no one sent a few flyers out here. I'm still a little unhappy that I'm only worth 8,000 gold.
As you just said, that'll change very quickly with what just happened.
True.
Although they have to know it was you first, and we did shoot the bird and kill everybody who can identify you. Except the orc.
And the prisoners.
I think they'll say it was you.
I doubt it. Maybe.
Alright, so we just go in, tell them we're here to help get the information, and get out so Clyde isn't seen?
So what happens if they ask you to take off your helmet? What are you going to do then?
I can say no.
Yeah, then you'd speak.
Or, that's what I mean, like, somebody could just say he's not going to.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there, I guess.
Was horribly disfigured by acid.
Nope, just say he refuses.
Right?
I like my idea better.
Alright, let's go.
Entering into the city.
I detect evil.
Saw that coming.
Clyde, you see some evil people, mostly because there's greed. It's a cardinal sin. Do you want to smote them now?
Being bad does not denote evil. Like, evil was like an actual sub.
Yeah, I know, but greed is one of the 7 cardinal sins.
Mm-hmm.
And you're evil if you were a sinner.
No, that's not how that works.
I know, I'm joking.
We're going to move on from this conversation. The city is mildly quiet. The stalls seem to be mostly dealing in one at a time. There is a air about this place, a fearful air. Looking around, you notice that there are damages to the building as if a siege weapon was launched. Looking out past the gate, back towards the road, you see orc heads on spikes. Guards walk the tower, bows in hand. As you approach, a man in heavy armor steps in front. Looking you over, he gives a nod and steps out of the way, letting you pass into the city. It is clear that they are selective on the races that they let in. Inside, it is still very much the same as the front area, though it is a little bit higher class. Instead of having shops outside, they are more like shop buildings. People are walking in and out, doing shopping, but there is still that air of fear that soaks in the air itself. You do see a single pub with the door wide open, letting people know that they are open.
High level motion go good as place as any, or should we just go right up to the mayor and announce ourselves?
Quick side track.
Mm-hmm.
In our journey here, can I have tried the robe to see what it was?
Yes, go ahead and roll use magic device.
18.
Putting it on, you notice that your armor makes less sound as you move around. Basically would give you a +2 to your sneak and move silent. But it literally makes it to where you don't hear the metal squeak as normally you would hear on metal armor.
Oh. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna ask if either of them want it or they want me to use it, because I'm not really sure quiet is my thing or if it'll work that great.
Right, if anything, you're the one who needs it the most.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Okay.
It'd be nicer to have you being able to get closer when we're sneaking around, rather than having to stay so far back. Go into the tavern, or are we just going to go find the leaders of this place and tell them we were sent by the Holy City?
I say recon the bar.
Dig up some information before going and saying hi?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Alright.
mean, Clyde's going to say, since we're from the actual Holy City and we're representing them, we might want to go and tell them that we're here first off.
Yes, but if they're as evil and bad and treacherous as you make them out to be, I'd rather have some information about things. You haven't been here for a little while before going and talking to them.
True.
I say we just take a few minutes. We just say that we wanted to eat before we talk to them. Likely excuse.
Politely, yep.
Alright, to the bar.
Alright.
Or well, to the tavern.
In the tavern, there's a bustle of people. They have the fire lit, even though it is not really that cold out. One of the things that strikes you first is the low quality of food that you see. You see cheaply manufactured beer. There's that stench of just cheap beer in the air. The food that is being served looks more like meat and porridge. It doesn't look like something you would expect in a thriving human town. You don't see a lot of meat. You see mostly bread and starches, and the meat that is in there looks like it's more fat than anything. The people are quiet. Most of them look like they have seen several fights. Some of them are still nursing injuries. In the corner sits a large human. On the wall behind him leans a massive warhammer. One eye scarred to it is the point of closed. His beard looks like it has been set aflame more than once. His good eye looks up at the group and gives a slight nod as he returns to his, what we will call, mercifully, his meal.
I'm assuming Kalila's leading this. I was waiting to see if Short Round wanted to do anything. He normally does stuff in taverns.
You're saying he has a drinking problem?
No.
Yes.
Okay. Short Round's just kind of looking around like, not what I was kind of expecting for a rich place, but it's under siege, I guess.
Definitely not the best.
I will slowly shake his head, because that's not really what he meant. Only the higher ups.
Is he whispering that to us, or just shaking his head and staying stoically quiet?
Shaking my head, saying, "Stoically quiet."
Squeak, squeak, squeak.
All right. Well, Kalila's just gonna let her ears do the observation, find a table, sit down, act a little normal, order a drink, and listen.
All right. The barmaster walks up, setting a a wooden stein of a swill, kind of resembling beer in front of you, uh, giving you a nod, and hands you a menu.
I'll look over
Men-
the menu.
the menu is farce. It is literally gruel with pig's fat, pig's feet, and what would be equivalent to a travel ration.
That's probably honestly the best thing on the menu. Do they even have just like some simple bread?
Yes, there is like bread and stuff like that on it.
Probably order something that's not gonna make her sick, like a loaf of bread, and some broth or something simple. Okay. She's not risking food poisoning in this place, but more just to blend in.
Okay.
Food poisoning.
Clyde, would you like to order anything? I'll take that as a no. Defibulous. Defibulous.
He'll just get some, kind of follow Kalila's step, just get something safe.
Okay.
I ain't trusting their gruel.
The bartender walks off with a slight shrug. Can I get...
Rune's here with us too, right?
That is right. Rune is not going to order anything because he is afraid of everything he sees right now.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
Can I get a perception check from everyone that is listening around them?
14.
Okay.
19.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
So everyone listening around hears the murmur of, the Baron of the town will be sending out more mercenaries to deal with the orcs again. It's becoming just a suicide, running the same tactic over and over again. Maybe they're just trying to kill off the mercenaries that have come to help. Some people are complaining about the food, as others are having the normal conversation. Like, what they're planting this season, stuff like that.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Doesn't sound too hopeful in here, does it?
Yeah, and the fact that the mercenaries aren't having any better luck.
Well, it sounds like someone's meat grinding their mercenaries.
I'm surprised the mercenaries are still showing up.
As you two talk, the bartender returns with the broth and the bread. The broth looks like it is mostly water with a few seasoning in them. The bread looks okay, but stale. It looks like it was made within the last 3 days.
Before the bartender leaves or whoever brought the food, right? Kalila will just kind of casually motion and just go, why do they... I'm surprised the mercenaries keep coming. What's with that? Is there a good payout?
He goes, well, they keep promising to pay him their weight in gold if they're able to stop the orcs from attacking. The problem is, you have to have proof that they've stopped attacking. The only one that's ever returned, the guy over there in the corner.
Glance.
It's the man with the warhammer,
Okay.
who is sipping at his beer. The bartender shrugs. He goes, most of them end up piked outside the orc war tribe.
Why are the orcs so mad?
He shrugs. He goes, well, from what I heard, the governor sent out a small raid party to one of their hunting camps and killed off several of their people, a young female orc included. They took her head and piked it out front of the manor, and her body was drawn and quartered in the middle of the streets.
Wow, that was a little bit of overkill there.
Yeah, why such high level aggression? I mean, they're orcs, I get it, but that seems excessive.
Well, according to the governor, she was saying that the orcs are trying to rise up the monster army and take hold of this ground again. They say that it is their right to fight the orcs and the monsters in any way they deem necessary, and we must foot the bill for the process. I'm lucky I'm able to even get beer. The taxes have gone up steadily for the last couple of years.
How long
So
have you
it's
been fighting them?
Yeah, a couple of years is kind of a long time.
Yeah. Well, they started raising taxes before the assaults happened under the we're trying to build a better army, but you know, politicians are going to say that crap.
Mm.
But no one speaks ill of the hold keeps, yet they lose their tongue.
What about the hold keeps? I mean, this isn't our native area.
He goes, I figured that. You're not human. He's not human. And he's just a walking suit of armor. And then you got that old elf.
Yeah, that has my curiosity, but she'll playfully shrug and smirk, going, I am a cat.
He goes, yeah.
But tell me about the hold keeps.
They have been ruling this territory for a while now. It started out okay when they first took over, but then it just seemed to slowly go downhill. They started raising taxes and dividing the poor from the nobles, and then the divide became a working merchant class. If you are not human, you are not allowed to live inside the walls. You are to live in the outer district, which was burned down in the last raid. So all of our non-humans have left.
She'll nod. Alright. So they're just kind of not doing much about it other than the same hire, wash, rinse, repeat.
As far as I can tell, I don't think they even care about the people. I think they are stocking up their money and are planning to run off the minute they get the chance.
Hmm.
Between you, me, and the swill, I've been seeing a lot of carriages heading out towards the Holy City every couple of weeks.
I don't blame them. I mean, no offense to you, but you can look around anywhere and see some of the effects.
That this place is hell?
Yeah, I was trying to be nice.
It's hell.
So how are you getting by?
I'm one of the few bars that stay open. I luckily am able to brew my own beer, but it tastes like crap. And I'm close enough to the butcher that he gives me the scraps of meat the nobles don't want.
Good make do.
Hmm?
So you're making do.
Yeah.
Hmm. What about getting the old man over there to talk, motioning back to the guy with the warhammer?
He's a merc. They'll talk if you pay him or if they feel like you're worth talking to.
Just making sure he's not the type that'll just brush off everybody who approaches.
How big of groups have been going out?
Fairly large groups. I think the last group they sent out that no one returned on was a 10-man group.
10 well-trained mercenaries and not a single one came back?
There's a lot of orcs, and they've got something that we don't. For some weird reason, ever since they started building that war camp, that mountain out in the distance became an active volcano.
Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't known as a volcano before?
It was an old mining mountain. We never had issues with it until they piped the female orc, and then all of a sudden that mountain just starts spitting out smoke and ash.
That's perplexing.
Mm-hmm.
Kalila will nibble at her bread.
He gives you a nod and heads off. Rune looks around under his breath. This place, sad. Very sad.
Yeah, I agree.
Can't disagree.
What we do now?
Well, I was thinking one of us goes over and talks to the guy with the warhammer. He's the only mercenary that's apparently gone out there, seen anything, and has made it back. His information would be pretty valuable. Although, a mountain turning into a volcano, she's gonna look at Clyde with this look of, do you have any information on, you used to live here?
I mean, Dan?
So, what you remember...
Thank God.
So, what the bartender said was true. When you were younger, it used to be a area that was mined, and it was mined empty. All the veins were struck. There were no other precious metals or even workable metals found, so they abandoned the mine because there was nothing there. It was never an active volcano. It was more a mineral mine. You even spent times playing in it because it was still maintained just as a, place for people to hide if something happened to the city. Taking on, like, the idea of what the dwarves did, like hide underground when the world is being destroyed around you.
Correct.
But the orcs taking over, you wouldn't have known of. It would have happened after you left. But as far as any of the clerics and scholars that used to be here, they all deemed it as it was a safe mountain, that there was no volcanic activity.
Okay. I've tried to very, very well. I tug on her shirt and try to pull her off to the side to tell her this information very quietly.
Yeah, that's why I was like, we picked a table and you're like in the corner so you can like very quietly like say things. Alright, she'll look at Defibulus after hearing what he had to say, and well, if it's accurate, and no one really knows exactly why the volcano went crazy. It's convenient timing. Do you want to go talk to the guy with the warhammer, or do you want me to?
We probably should both talk to him, but I'm also curious, who here has the most knowledge on orcs and their tribe setups?
Me.
Yeah, I used to live here, I would hope so.
Besides someone of your stature. Don't you think it's a little odd? All of a sudden they go raid a hunting camp and take one particular one, hang, draw, quarter, pike ahead, and then all of a sudden a volcano? It sounds like you axed a shaman or something.
Jump from that to that level of an extreme seems excessive. Why did that happen?
Make a good way to cut your losses here, then come back and reclaim everything. And you get rid of all, you make the orcs angry. Orcs come back, wipe out peasants and poor people. Rich people flee in the meantime. Orcs think they have their place. Volcano is a bad sign. Then eventually, rich people come back, take everything with an army, claim land, claim new volcano area, and expand territory. Or someone's pulling the strings here that we don't know about, because still, you hang, draw, and quarter someone and pike their head, you really had a grudge against them.
Right, but we were also informed that the Scepter
Or you're
were
instigating.
That's true, but what about the idea that they came... Didn't we needed a scepter. It's
Mm-hmm.
basically a volcano, and we come down here on a mission that we're forced to go to take care of some orcs that all of a sudden are near a mountain that turned volcano. Maybe
Well,
there's some objects at work in here that's corrupting people into aggression.
or stupidity.
Oh, that
No,
stupidity
me
works.
too.
Greed, stupidity, self-centeredness. I can go on all day, guys. You might want to stop me.
Yeah, we'll stop you.
Somebody stop it.
Okay, do you think both of us going and talking to the guy with the warhammer isn't suspicious?
Well, I mean, we're doing reconnaissance, and if he's the only one that's gone out and has ever come back, either he's killing the other ones himself as well, or he's just that good.
You wish to stay at the table, Clyde, or are you just going to quietly follow us around?
I am going to follow you.
Coming with.
He nods.
How approachable does this guy with the warhammer look like?
Your average warhammer holding mercenary, wall of a man mercenary.
All right, Kalila will get up.
I will also get up. I will go over. I will, put down my longsword on one side of a seat, put down my tower shield on the other side of the seat, and sit down across from him.
He raises an eyebrow, then looks at the others that approach.
I
I'm
will
assuming-
walk up and smirk and go, sorry. He's a little bold. Putting a hand on Clyde's shoulder.
He gives a nod, clearly.
I wanted to ask you some questions. You're the only
Oh.
mercenary that survived the orcs.
I did extend my hand in a welcoming, shaking hand manner.
He just raises an eyebrow. He goes, I don't deal with paladins. What you want, Hunter?
Information? What you got?
The hunting grounds out here suck. The orcs have chased off any viable prey. And if you're anything less than an orc or a half orc and you're caught, you're screwed. You're either going to be a slave or a meal.
No, that's standard with orcs. What do you know about... Tell me about when you went out there. Your party, who you were with. What happened?
He gives a slight shrug. Went out with a bunch of, well, they claim to be experienced fighters. Went up, followed the plan according to what the governor wanted. By the time we got to the main gate, they jumped us, and I luckily got my way out. They are not acting like a normal war orc. They are acting more humanoid, more human. They seem to have a better understanding of defensive tactics.
All right. How far out are they, and how bad does it get the further you go?
Well, it seems like they've got probably about 100 orcs that I could see from when I was scouting. They're set up in a small encampment. They've got guard towers, slave pens, place to cook. They've assembled 2 large, I don't know, I want to call them statues. Hard to tell from the distance I was in. But they're
entrenched.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
their chieftain is up in the mountain or up in the volcano area where they bark the orders.
Well, I was about to ask my next question. Answers my next question is where this encampment is, and it's at the base of a volcano.
I got a question for you. Did these orcs seem like way harder to put down than normal?
Well, I bashed them hard enough just to get away. The ones that I was with, they were either torn limb from limb or dragged off to be a meal or a toy.
Did the orcs seem kind of like lifeless almost? Like walking around? Yeah, zombie-ish.
Not at all. They seem to fight more like a trained army, as if trained by an actual general.
And
That's military.
the strategy you were given to attack the orcs with, would you say it was even a sound strategy at all?
If you were going against standard orcs, possibly. Get up close enough to the gate, set some explosives that were acquired, and do damage. We were just hired to do damage. They said that they've got an army waiting with some of the best firearms they could get their hands on, and they were going to use some new siege weapon that had flaming barrels of black powder or some rot like that.
I don't think that never happened.
I never saw it.
All right, what about the people who lead this place? Obviously, you had to talk to them. You went out there.
The governor, she's a piece of work. She believes that her family has ultimate say in everything that happens in this land. They don't trust anything that's not human, but they'll send it out to die for it. Reward that they're given is your weight in gold. So,
Hold on. Thanks. Toss him a couple of coins.
he slides them back. Nope, I'm waiting.
For what?
He just gives a smirk. He goes, "Nobles can't keep held up forever."
Fair enough. Take your coin back and rejoin at their table, I guess.
So how long do you think it's going to be until the local populace gets tired of the bullshit and goes after the nobles?
Was that question to me?
To the group.
Okay. Can you repeat the question?
To people, it's just like, how long do you think it's going to be until the populace here gets really fed up with the nobility and goes after them?
Well, considering that a city so far away, the Holy City, sent us, soon.
I mean, he looks over in Clyde's direction. How often do you think the nobility and the leadership here fight with each other?
I'm honestly going to say that they won't rise up against, because they have the gold to pay for the mercenaries to defend them. So as long as the mercenaries are going to be paid, they're going to be able to defend against the common folk, and it would be a massacre for them.
And that's a good valid point too, unless the mercenaries actually have good hearts, which is a debate.
Well, I'm wondering, in other places you hear about nobility and ruling classes fighting with each other. Could you imagine how much you can gain if you wipe out one or the other? And the peasantry?
A lot. But we're here to deal with the orcs, not get involved in the politics.
I'm wondering if the politics is what's caused the problems with the orcs.
The only way to go find out is to start talking to the politics. We at least have to tell them that we're here, so that way we get our assignment.
We were given, just out of character, we were given a letter of recommendation or notification saying, hey, the Holy City has sent us here as representatives to figure out what the hell your problem is,
Sir
right?
Reginald did.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sir Reginald was in charge of assigning us, so pretty sure there's paperwork.
Yeah, not only do you guys have something, but he did send word ahead.
Well, should we go talk to them then?
I guess. You ready for this, Clyde?
Sure am. First time you probably ever hear sarcastic responses from Clyde.
I don't know, we did hear him talking about committing crimes and selling fake heads for ransom money.
That's not... Technically, it's not a fake head. When you permanent polymorph, it becomes real.
Yeah. I mean, he's not doing anything technically wrong.
He does flirt. He does flirt with everything he fights.
True.
I did not flirt with that evil Sheriff.
So does that mean Clyde is the Captain Kirk of this campaign?
Oh God.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I mean, he went after the stewardess of our house.
Still is.
Yeah. He's gone after Defibulous once or twice now, too.
I even did touch the spider.
He does like to tie you up too.
Oh, yeah, he does like tying ropes to everyone around here. Moving on.
All right, so we're heading up to the leader people.
As you head to the ruling class area, things take a dramatic change for the better. The air is thick with the smell of burning pulpery, incense.
Urban snow goods.
Yes. The streets are clean and pristine. The wood on the home looks like it's been freshly cleaned and tarred. There's a gate that stops people from entering that you all have been allowed to pass through.
Go up to the gate. Multi-pass.
As you approach the outer atrium of the ruling building, a older man in a finely dressed noble outfit greets you. He goes, "Ah, you must be the group from the Holy City. I am Master Holdkeep. My wife is the governor here. We have been waiting for you. Please, come in. We have a meal prepared."
I will nod and go, thank you.
Thanks.
Inside, the building is ordained with gold and silver. A chandelier of ever-burning torches dangles from the roof. At the head of a long table sits the governor. In front of her, a quill, ink, and small scrolls that she is writing on. Before her, laid out, is a feast of fresh fruit and vegetables, as well as a suckling pig that has been cooked to perfection. Looking up, she smiles. "Ah, I have guessed. Are you the ones from the Holy City?"
Yes, Sir Reginald sent us.
"Ah, yes. He is a very timely man, and I appreciate him sending the heroes to help deal with this problem of these creatures. You must be tired from your travels. Please, sit and enjoy."
I will quietly and politely sit.
Defibulous will do the same.
The Master Holdkeep sits next to his wife as she stands and sends servants to fill your drinks. "So, you have come to get rid of the orcs, am I correct?"
That's the plan.
"Well, we have sent many a mercenary that cannot seem to get the job done. We have tried pushing many numbers as well as less numbers. Our plans do not seem to work. We have even tried to assault from multiple sides, but it seems as if they are always prepared. I do not know what information I am able to give you that you may not already know, but please ask anything you may need."
Well, the only thing that we really know is that there was a bunch of very aggressive orcs and something about a volcano. So why don't you fill us in?
"Well, a few years ago, one of my hunting parties went out to hunt on our land. During their time out there, they found a orc hunting party that was edging too close to the city. Our men attacked in the night, killing them all. As proof of our victory, they brought us their leader. We strung up the young man and removed his head, putting it on the pike out front, so that all the orcs may see that their destiny if they try to attack our land. His body was unceremoniously buried.
So Fabulous is going to lean over to Kalila very quietly. I thought someone said it was a woman they hanged, rod quartered, and piked.
They did. Very quietly back.
But of course, you would already know that as we reported all of this to the Holy City.
They didn't go over every inch of the paperwork and every inch of the detail. It was more summarized.
But our men only acted in defense. They said that they gave them forewarning and told them to leave, and it became an aggression. So our men dealt with it appropriately.
Okay, then what happened?
A few days passed, and then we were assaulted. At first it was orcs throwing boulders at our gates, followed by siege weapons. Once they began to use siege weapons, we started to send our men out there and drive them back. A few days after that, we saw the telltale smoke from the mountain. Fearing that the orcs have summoned some demon god, we sent word to the Holy City for help. They said that they would send scholars to look at it and study to see what is going on. Then the attacks happened. It got to the point where we were not able to get word out to the Holy City, and we were relied on our own means to supply for our people. Little by little, the orcs started to kidnap our people in the night, sneaking into our town, taking people in their sleep, and disappearing out into the night. These creatures are the same, I believe, are the same creatures that years ago sent monsters to attack my home, and my family forced them out. I feel like this is vengeance for us, showing that the human race is better than any orc.
Kalila's deliberately choosing not to say anything to give things away, so she'll just nod, like, obviously, like, listening to the story that she's telling. And then go, so what, you said you've tried different tactics, sending many men, sending fewer men, attacking on different sides. Is there a collection of information over what's been reported and what you've scoped out, where the walls are, if there's secret entrances, back doors?
She nods. She goes, I am currently writing up the next strategy for the next group of mercenaries that I have hired. We believe
War
that...
council?
Hmm?
Do you have a war council? Or is it just you and your husband that plan everything?
It is just me and my husband, as we are the most skilled tacticians that the city has. The Hold Keep have a natural ability to not only deal in tactics, but deal in the ruling class. I believe the most apt way to take care of these creatures is to disrupt their day-to-day by more sneaking around, setting explosives, or stopping them from being able to repair weapons and setting free slaves and their livestock, until eventually bringing out the chieftain himself and striking him down. I believe that the gods have sent you here to help us do this.
Well, I have no problem looking over your battle plan. But given the fact that you've tried multiple occasions and it's just you and your husband, I think it might work best if we come up with our own and act out what we believe is the best. So I think if you could just give us the knowledge that you have, the maps that you have, the layouts that you have, it might work better that way.
She nods and she goes, we have also set up a room in our manor that you may use as a sleeping quarters, as well as a place to do your planning.
Oh, I wouldn't want to impose. We would be making all kinds of potential noise and ruckuses at all kinds of hours. We could just stay at a nice hotel.
She takes a moment to think about it, and she goes, well, if that is what you wish, we will make sure not to send the bill to the Holy City. She slides a box full of scrolls and papers towards you. This is everything that we've acquired thus far.
Thank you. She'll thank them, have dinner with them since, they were making food, and continue the idle chit-chat while trying not to reveal jack shit.
All right, well, that is easy enough because they're pompous and full of themselves and insist on telling you the story of how the Hold Keeps pushed back the stream of monsters.
It's just giving me more ammunition for their lies. I'm fine with that. I'm just gonna enjoy dinner and collect their lies.
Yeah.
It's fine. Unless Short Round has anything to say. Or any questions to ask them.
I do have a question, your governess?
Yes.
Do you guys not have a standing army out here? I mean, you'd think if you had problems with orc raiding and fighting orcs over the past, you'd have a standing army to defend yourself. I mean, as important as this area seems to be, I mean, gotta have an army to protect yourself.
Right now, I have our army at a nearby training facility, training in the new firearms that are being produced.
Oh, what firearms you going with?
She begins to explain that she's going with a cartridge rifle that was purchased through a gnome group that gave them a great deal because they're going to sell them the mountain once they get rid of the orcs.
I see.
I also have a follow-up question on that. Why would you send your entire army at one time? Why not divide it a third or something at a time?
It was what the short bolts required of us. They said that is the only way that they will do the training, is if they train everyone at once, because their time is as precious as ours.
Despite the fact that they know that you're fighting a war against orcs and that would leave you defenseless.
They have been sending us a constant stream of mercenaries to help protect us, and we have not had any problems since we've sent out our men. Most of the problems have been with the mercenaries we have sent out to deal with them, but they have not attacked since our standing army has gone for training.
So they're not coming all the way here. They're just attacking anybody who goes closer to their lands.
She nods.
Kalila's mostly done asking questions. So unless anybody else has anything.
Nah, Devibulus is lost in thought at the moment.
And Clyde is just being silent.
Yep, he ain't gonna do jack crap.
True.
All right. So after dinner, what are you guys going to do? Are you going to find yourself an inn?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
gonna stay definitely in the nicer district just because if we're gonna be battling orcs, we should be well rested. But I'm not like splurging.
Okay. You do find a nice inn that has vacancy. So as night slowly encroaches on the land, you four can look out and see in the distance the amber glow of the volcano in the distance, spewing its dark smoke into the mostly dull sky.
Well, once we're nice and safe into a room, Kalila's gonna look at Clyde and be like, well, that was a mouthful of lies.
You are very adept at noticing that.
I got big ears.
I'm a little concerned about something I heard.
What's your concern?
Well, aside from my brother, it's found a way down here, but he's training the entire Hold Keep army to use rifles.
Mm-hmm.
He's also demanded the entire army is there for training, but he's sending a steady stream of mercenaries down here to quote unquote fight the orcs for him. My question is, what's to say he doesn't have an army of mercenaries there and is just replacing the entire Hold Keep army with mercenaries and just going to take the entire area?
Also a possibility.
Because that sounds like something my brother would do.
Why pay for a mountain that you can just take?
Yeah, well, not only that, you take an entire small city now.
Yeah, but
Well,
get a volcano mining facility and a set up town.
I also find it very odd that the orcs got close enough to the city with siege weapons, no one noticed them, and that the orcs only seem to be reacting to attacks in defense of their area, and occasionally hit and run once or twice here when they could just overrun the place since there's no real defenders here.
Also, the
Yep.
little white lies. The hunting party went out and happened to find another hunting party and asked them politely to leave. Who asks orcs politely to leave?
Who here, other than the higher ups, like myself or people that deal with orcs, speak orc enough to ask them?
That's a very valid question. So,
Also, they killed a male one when we were told it was a female.
yeah, that's the blatant lie. Although maybe the rumorville was wrong. All we have is the general mass information and the noble mass. I am more tend to believe the general masses.
I
But
wonder, would it be worth digging up the dead orc?
it's on display. It's not dug up.
The body was drawn and quartered,
Oh, okay, so it was probably buried.
or left to the crows.
It could have been left to the crows. They said something about it being buried, I thought.
That was part of them talking about the male. That-
Oh, okay, so possibly a part of the lie.
Because I mean, yeah, I'm not the religious type, but you killed this one woman and all of a sudden a volcano goes off. That strikes me like you just killed the mountain shaman, and the mountain's a little upset.
Yeah. And
I
they're
agree with that.
completely clueless as to. And you, Clyde, you've said you've been battling the orcs here for when you lived here, when you were a child. You grew up with orcs, correct?
Yeah, I mean,
So what
What-
happened? Did you guys used to have an army? Like how drastic is this differently?
it was never really drastic. It was more of the lines of, hey, there are two opposing factions living next to kind of each other that will intertwine at some point in time because, everybody needs a hunt, everybody needs food, that kind of thing, water around. So parties kind of interacted every once in a while, and orcs raid. So raiding parties, that kind of stuff.
Expected.
It wasn't anything like here's a army and here's our army kind of thing. It was here is the people that go out, here are the people that defend the border.
Okay, so it's kind of like where I lived with my village. We have a small orc encampment nearby, but for the most part, we hunt in the south. They hunt in their small area, and we can easily avoid each other.
Yeah, without like a national army or the king's army coming and assisting us, there was no way for us to completely wipe them out.
So, okay, some time passed. They made more babies and warriors, absorbed other tribes. But they don't seem like they did anything other than after the reported death.
Or an outside influence that we don't know.
Yeah, that's always a possibility too. So we have all the information. She'll pull out the box. Let's go and review it and come up with a plan.
I wonder also, since it seems like the orcs have always been ready. I mean, good military training makes sense. Someone also feeding the orcs information on where the mercenaries are going to be also sounds really legitimate.
And your brother already works with orcs. We literally just... So maybe he's using the orcs, and this is just a giant plot with your family to do things.
Well,
Do we want to just deal with the orc problem, or do we want to get involved?
Well, I mean, it makes sense on how he does things. Pit both sides against each other, play them both, and then reap the rewards after they wipe each other out.
My
Question
brain did not
is-
follow that. What?
Well, think about it. He's working with the orcs, and he's working with the whole keeps.
Yeah.
Set them both against each other. They wipe each other out.
Mhm.
He gets a city, a mountain, and a bunch of territory he can build in.
Win,
I'm a
win,
little-
win for your brother.
And he doesn't even have to waste any gunpowder or bullets to do it. Well, aside from what his people are using.
Okay. Posing question. How would we even begin to understand if that's what your brother's doing? We would have to break into his headquarters and steal his journal or something. Like, how
Or-
are we going to figure that out?
Or, investigate the whole keep army being trained by... being trained.
While ignoring the plight of the orcs?
Well, I mean, as long I haven't seen any mercenaries coming in yet. Again,
The town's okay so far, so as long as they don't send anybody out to do something stupid, people should be okay.
I mean, also it does make sense if you think about it. The whole keeps are throwing gold and mercenaries after the problem. Lots of gold. And once they go broke, or they're just trying to bankrupt the entire area and just buy it out from everyone.
And then they can come in with their own army and wipe out the orcs.
Mm-hmm. Or just, yeah. Or that army that's being trained with rifles right now.
What's your idea on this hypothesis, Clyde?
My idea or thought process is they've gathered enough gold to have people come in and defend them. So anybody who's offering them either more defense or more gold, they're going to jump at the opportunity. If your brother's offering them defense and training, they're going to go after it. And his thought process is just gain as far as we have seen. So I personally, it makes me almost wary that I would not be surprised if an orc came out with a gun.
Oh god, that's a terrifying thought. An orc with a rifle?
Yeah, if he's playing both sides.
So we could go
But
out and investigate.
But you're saying like he's not that smart, so I'm trying to think of who is doing both sides.
If it's not him, it's maybe his wife, because she is that ruthlessly smart. Still don't understand why she married him. I mean, the orc's piked head outside has more personality than my brother.
All of them seem like probable options. The only way we're going to do is by getting more information. So we either decide to get more information or we decide to take an act against something. We were sent by the Holy City to stop the orcs. But there's all this other crap.
They didn't say how to stop the orcs. If we can come up with a peaceful negotiation or one that doesn't obliterate everyone in the process, I mean, that works.
You ever heard about orcs being peacefully negotiated with?
Hey, I negotiated with the one orc.
I'm wondering if we can get a conversation going somewhere. If we go into the woods and try and get a conversation, because I can speak orc.
Can try, and if not, then we just end up defending ourselves against an orc. But do we start with the orcs, or do we follow the other trail and try and talk to these mercenaries that are coming from Short Round's family?
I almost feel like we should talk to the orcs only because orcs weren't really highly known for being sly and deceit and having lots of deceit. So if we ask them what happened and we actually get an answer, we might actually find out the truth.
It's going to side with one or the other tail or something.
Maybe we can also find where this hunting ambush occurred and study that too.
Well, it would be good to go back and see, but it sounds like that's old. I don't know how much information we would gather from an old ambush site.
Yeah, and we cannot be sneaky. We have to make our presence a little clearer to know that, for them to know we're not trying to do what they did.
That's fine. I'll just follow you then.
So you want me to shoot my gun in the air and get their attention?
No.
That would be one way, but that might send the wrong kind of signal. We kind of need to have that whole, hey, I'm standing here without a weapon, let's talk, versus...
Just a sheathed weapon, not without a weapon.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Not aggressively posed.
Yep.
Well, we can certainly go and try and talk to an orc, or I can at least try and find a small party. The last thing we want to do is walk into a party of 10, and it's just us.
Correct.
We can take him. We'll just put him in front and let him swing at him.
There you go.
Yar.
Well, as you guys continue to discuss this plan and what you're going to do, a low rumble happens deep in the ground. And as that happens, we will end this episode here.
Well, me friends, it seems as if the adventurers have not only found the orcs, a live volcano, and a lying noble family, but it seems as if now they must deal with it all. It seems as if our adventuring friends have a knack to find trouble. Well, let's hope this trouble is able to be dealt with. As always, me friends, I will see you next time, and may the dust gods bless your every roll.
We here at What the Dice would like to thank Paizo for creating Pathfinder, Epidemic Sound for our music, as well as Sirenscape for our sound effects. If you would like to reach out to us, you can do so on Facebook at What the Dice Pod, Twitter at What the Dice Pod, and of course email whatthedicepod@gmail.com. And if you liked our little adventure, please share us with your friends and rate and review us.